Hey folks, welcome back to another Massive video, and today we're going to continue something that I kind of left off before completely finishing, which was the, February-ish, tier list, right? The last update, right? The last update. We only did support so far, which probably you could find somewhere on the channel. And before I can complete all of them, we got the whole, big update stuff, the anniversary. Unfortunately, just didn't have time to finish them all, and we're just gonna, finish it over here. And the reason why I'm not just moving on to, this updates, including this updates units, because I generally, when doing these, I do want to at least have and use these units for a good while before, doing these. That's why I always do these at the end of the months, right? Usually I do have, a bit of a sort of prediction-ish first thoughts sort of ranking when I do, the new units, all that stuff. But generally, when I'm, putting them in context and, the bigger picture, I do kind of want to, familiarize with them a bit more, use them a bit more, all that stuff, right? And yeah, also plus the tier list maker person hasn't updated the new units yet, so updating that would also kind of help. Anyways, all right, let's get into this. Again, shout outs to the folks on Discord helping me out on these, right? Again, obviously these are all subjective, just our opinions, which I personally don't even 100% agree with this list on. There's actually quite a few that I do not agree with, but again, it's not just me, right? A lot of folks, it's collective effort, right? So slander them, don't slander me. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. But yeah, I mean, you could, feel whatever, right? Again, there's no objective way to do this, right? It's not like these are like strikers and you could just pull their damage numbers up, right? Because again, techs are really weird because they all do really, really different things. Some of the best techs, like for example, like a Serena, in some places there's not much use for her, right? If the opponent has wide awake, which there really aren't that many opponents with wide awake, and something that you generally wouldn't use that often. Let's say a Aegis Slash in that one prestige event, very, very helpful, right? Outside of that, it doesn't really do much. So again, tags are kind of weird like that, right? So let's get into this. So starting off, I'm just gonna throw one in each tier so we kind of know what ballpark we're dealing with each tier, right? Starting from the top, let's throw one in. Let's just throw Delphox in there, right? Delphox is still probably the most broken unit in the game. AoE sleep with accuracy buffs and an insanely powerful overheat and sync nuke, right? A lot of people talk about her AoE sleep, which again is incredibly game breaking, but also her damage is through the charts as well, right? So Delphox up there, that's a pretty easy one. I mean, there's really nothing much to say about that. Moving on, the second tier, for example, let's pull Alcremie in there, right? A new unit from the last update, right? Alcremie, I think, does everything. Does a bit of everything, right? It really, really great supports with House Sweet with +2 attack and special attack and gradual heals, and then on top of that, fake tears, -2 special defense on the opponent, and then charm to grease the opponent's attack. And then you could do some damage with Dazzling Gleam as well. You could have a okay-ish, sync damage like most techs do, right? And then got Ripple Effect where you could 50% chance of all the debuffs going AoE and all that stuff, right? Team Wide Awake is situationally useful, I guess. Got some great stuff on the grid, like first aid and all that stuff, healing. It's just a fantastic sync pair all around. Does so many things, fits into so many different team comps, and helps out so many different units, right? So I definitely do think Alcremie is deserving of going in that tier, right? Moving on, putting folks in the really good tier, I guess. Let's see. We put Crobat in there, right? Fantastic Sync Nuker, also has special defense debuffs, not as great as Alcremies, right? But still something, right? I got the Badly Poison, which is really, really good in Master Mode if you want to stall out some stages, evasion buffs, all that stuff. Do some okay damage with Venusaur as well. Just a great, utility sync pair all around. You want to do damage, DOT, everything. It's a great sync pair to have. Speed, right, as well. Moving on, next tier, the good tier, I'd say something like a let's say, I don't know, an Octillery, right? Fantastic sync nuker. The setup is kind of awkward, right? But once you do get it set up, it's great sync nuker. Got some great debuffs as well. Accuracy debuffs. You got good defenses. Tank some hits here and there. You got the burn, which is really, really nice. So, all around great damage dealer that has some good utility as well. Moving on, let's see. Over here, situation good. Let's put something like, how about a Swampert, right? Again, outside of the Master Mode stages, you don't see too much use for Swampert, but Swampert is so incredibly good at, Master Mode. You could basically just get like a free 1.5k points out of Swampert, right? Gets you both Badly Poison and Trap, right? Which is fantastic. Good defenses, gradual heals, defensive buffs, right? All that stuff. Could also do some okay damage as well. Swampert is really, really, really great as well. Moving down a tier into situational. I guess we could put, let's say, I don't know, Wheezing, right? Wheezing also has poison. Wheezing is AoE, right? Unfortunately, it's regular poison, not badly poison, unlike, Swampert or Koga, right? But that's still nice. Great defenses, all that stuff. It could be a really great partner if you're running Singsu Leaf in a full first battle or something, 3v9 situations, where after, obviously, a Venusaur Megas, you lose the ability to poison, so you can still have Wheezing over here AoE poisoning, which is really, really nice. So, yeah, there's that. Moving on to same niche, I guess Liepard, the absolute definition of niche, right? There's 2 stages that it's ever been absolutely crazy on, and outside of that, just kind of right? Obviously this Cresselia legendary event, fantastic over there. Steal opponents' buffs, makes Cresselia so much more manageable, right? But outside of that, it's just a weird, awkward evasion tank that's not even that great at that, I guess. Its offenses are honestly sad. It's some of the saddest stuff in the game if you look at it. Let's find it. Where's Liepard? Oh my god. A 5-star with 140 special attack. If you look at techs nowadays, we have techs pushing 400 attack or special attack, and this thing's rocking 140, right? Kind of awkward. And your attack is a bit higher, not that high as well, but your physical move is a 2 gauge. Yeah. Grimsley, yeah, you have a good speed, I guess. Yeah, but yeah, it's really, really, really niche. Moving on to the next tier, most of the class, we could throw in Auroras in here, right? AoE Flincher, however, gets completely outclassed by Altaria, which also AoE flinches and does a billion other things as well. But in some situations, you could use it, right? Although AoE flinch isn't as good as we initially thought, the chances aren't actually as high, right? But it's still something. And then moving on to last set, outclassed, not too great, sad face. We could put Togedemaru in here, I guess. Togedemaru is Paraflinch, except there's a billion better Paraflinchers, right? Again, even though I didn't want to rank these, but Marnie Morpeko is a better Paraflincher. That also does a billion other, well, not a billion other things, a billion other damages, I guess. But yeah, Luxray, much better Paraflincher, just completely gets outclassed there. And even if even if we're not comparing it, Paraflinch is not the biggest deal in the world, right? And that's the main thing that Togedemaru does. All the other, Marnie, like I mentioned, or Luxray, yeah, they could Paraflinch, but they also have a lot of other things that they do very, very well, right? So unfortunately, Togedemaru is over here. All right, moving on. Let's just go in order, I guess. All right. Meowstic. Meowstic, we could put it in the in the same tier as Wheezing. Really, really nice, right? Fantastic speed. Got speed buffs for your whole team. I just really wish Meowstic was like a better tank. That would have made Meowstic really, really nice because you have Confusion as well, Paralysis. It does a lot of great things. I do think Meowstic is underrated. So yeah, there's that. Moving on, we got Luxray. Luxray is all the way up here in the amazing tier. Obviously sets up Electric Train, which is fantastic. I think Luxray was the one that got slightly shafted on the. Oh, never mind. It's okay. Oh, wasn't Luxray I'm thinking of. Actually, wait. No, I think it is. Yeah. Luxray got slightly shafted on Electric Train NPR, but otherwise, it's really nice. Paraflinch, like I mentioned before, could do some solid damage, all that stuff. Again, Electric Train, fantastic defenses, right? With Electro Repulsion 3, right? You get those defenses like really, really great numbers with the really great HP as well. So, really, really good unit. Moving on, Seismitoad. Okay, I love you Clay fans. I love all of you Clay fans out there, but unfortunately, Seismitoad very, very one-dimensional, right? It has 2 speed lowering moves. And that's basically the only thing it does. I mean, it's solid defenses and relatively quick, I guess. But outside of that, it really doesn't do much. And there's just so many better speed debuffers right now with like Whimsicott or Healisk, right? It's just sad, I guess. Moving on, Aegislash. Aegislash had like that one like grand appearance in like the Steel Prestige event, and like since they're not doing Prestige events anymore, nor they're doing Steel Prestige events, no one really uses Aegislash anymore. And now that like there's Obstagoon, like Obstagoon is like Aegislash but like better, I guess. Yeah, it's kind of sad. Moving on, Ariados. We could put it in the I don't know, man. Ariados. I kind of want to put it in this when we first discussed it, we put it in the niche tier, but I kind of want to put it in situational tier. Right? You know what? I'm making an executive decision over here. I'm putting it at 1 tier higher than we initially talked about, because I do think Ariados is pretty nice, right? It got some really, really nice debuffs. Really great in master modes when you're using it with like some, badly poison unit, whether it be Singsu Leaf, Crobat, or Viper, right? It's great for stalling. Obviously, it does like nothing outside of that, so it is pretty limited, which I guess like niche also fits it, but like I don't know. I do think it's slightly better than what we gave it credit for. So there's that, I guess. Moving on, Electrode. I like Electrode a lot, man. I think Electrode's underrated. Other people don't think so. It's really, really fast. Special attack debuffs are really, really nice, especially if you're again pairing it with Volcanion, right? Not Volcanion, Volcarona. Volcarona with the overpowered devastation, right? You get you -6 special attack before your first sink, right? But that doesn't really do much. All right, moving on. Lycanroc. Lycanroc will put in a situation good. Defensive debuffs, it's only -1, but it is AoE. It's nice, I guess. The flinch is cool, but there's just so many like better flinches now, or there. I wouldn't say there's like that many like flinchers that like have a higher flinch chance, but a lot of flinchers ever since the like aggravation buff do have like a much higher flinch chance now. It's still really fast, like Lycanroc. It's just not really suited for master mode that much, right? And I do have to mention, this list is slightly biased towards like master mode performance, right? Because that is honestly just the best, or not the best, the hardest mode in the game at the moment, right? So Lycanroc doesn't do too well there, unfortunately. Moving on, Swampert. Swampert's an easy top tier, right? Absolute fantastic damage. Overall, right? One of the top damage healers in the game. Has MP refresh on Rain. With Racing Rain is really manageable in terms of move gauges. You could easily run double Rain Strikers. Again, Rain just so powerful, right? It helps out so many units. Things with blue, right? You got heals in Rain, all that stuff. You got accuracy debuffs, really tanky as well. Like, this is the ultimate unit over here, right? Moving on, got Pelipper, another rain unit. Probably put in a situation, I guess. It just completely gets outclassed by me, right? It's slightly unfortunate. Also, kind of gets outclassed by like Tech Blastos as well, but more so me. But, you know, it's still okay, right? Got flinches, got speed buffs, all that stuff. It's not terrible, I guess. Moving on, Bronzong, probably put in the mostly outclassed. Maybe even move it one tier lower. I don't know. I mean, the resistance is nice. It could tank a few hits, but outside of that, I mean, telekinesis is very, 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 very situational, right? And you know, nowadays there's just so many like accuracy buffers that you can run around. Or you could just troublemaker units, right? If it is like a status that you want to land, all that stuff. So Bronzong, it kind of gets outclassed, right? Healless, we could put it really good, right? Accuracy debuffs are really, really nice nowadays, right? Especially you know, Swampert being a thing, a lot of these, you know, evasion units being really nice. Parabolic heal, obviously, fantastic, you know, heals there, all that stuff. Electro web AoE, speed debuff could do decent damage on the sync nuke as well, especially under electric train, right? Overall, really, really a nice unit that went from very limited in like the team comps that it could be in to like, or more so like, you know, great, you know, unit that you could put in like a lot of like general team comps, but like doesn't really fit a certain role. To now playing like key roles in like a lot of different team comps, right? Moving on, got Venusaur still top tier, I'd say, right? I do think Venusaur slightly fell off a bit, just a bit, not too much, right? But still fantastic, right? The potions, all the heals, all that stuff. Still do, you know, dish out massive amounts of damage. Got not potion, we mentioned potion, poison, right? Which is very, very, very nice. Nowadays in master mode, right? But yeah, overall still really, really good. Nothing bad to say about it, right? Moving on, Torkle. We put it in a situation that I kind of want to move it. I love Torkle, man. I'm the original Torkle believer, right? If you guys remember all the way back when Torkle's grid was announced, I was going crazy telling everyone, dude, Torkle's actually really, really good. And Torkle's still good, right? It's just Torkle really does get like outclassed a lot now, right? But again, objectively looking at Torkle, it's still really, really nice, right? You got burns, good defense, solid damage on the 1 gauge. There's just better units that sort of like do what Torkle does now, right? A bit. But again, objectively still a really, really good unit. Moving on, Altaria put in an amazing tier. Defog, getting rid of shields and master mode is amazing, right? Dual coverage with fairy type and dragon type coverage, really, really nice as well. AoE flinch, not to mention that, right? Just great, like all around like stats, right? It says like great, like everything except for like speed, right? Special defense. So I guess nowadays when we're thinking like 194 defense is like that crazy, right? But yeah, it's just great all around stats, all that stuff. Dual, all that. It's a really, really good unit. Again, especially in master mode where you could remove shields, right? Moving on, got Xatu. Xatu is, I'll put it in situational, I guess, right? Solid defenses, all that stuff. Confuse rate is nice. Stored power obviously hits very, very hard, especially in psychic terrain, right? So yeah, that's Xatu, I guess. Moving on, we got Gengar. Obviously another, you know, a hypnosis unit. Not as good as Delphox. It is slightly quicker, right? So that's really, really nice. But if you aren't running a lucky skill line, obviously the chance of missing, all that stuff. Gengar also has Lick to Paralyze, I guess. Has solid special attack stat. If you Mega it, if you want to do some ghost type damage, you could do that as well, right? Moving on, we got Wallace and Milotic. We'll put in the really good tier, right? You know, it's fantastic sync nuker. The really great thing about it is running it in master mode. You got all the Poke Traps to increase the damage from your trap. Damage was really, really nice. Mirror Code, probably still the highest damage dealing game, the move in the world or in the whole game, even though it's a bit of a meme, but it's also true. Brian could do some serious damage, great tank, all that stuff, right? Recuperation, status reflections. I don't know. It does a billion things. Speaking of doing a billion things, Mew, right? Great tank, all these different coverage moves, right? Fantastic psychic sync nuker, fantastic psychic damage dealer, right? Like all the other coverages aren't like the best, but like its psychic damage is still solid, right? Mew's great. Moving on, we got Nanu. Nanu, we could throw in maybe niche tier, I guess. The defense debuffs are nice, right? It debuffs by 2. Not as versatile as Lycanroc, though, right? This got some like good stuff, right? Bite is cool, I guess. It's just pretty niche overall. That's why it's in the niche tier. Moving on, got Whimsicott. We'll put it in the amazing tier. Whimsicott's really, really good, right? Fantastic fairy type damage dealer, right? And also gives your whole team speed, which is amazing. AoE paralysis, right? AoE speed debuffs, just all around, just fantastic unit that does like a lot of damage. Moving on to Hariyama. Hariyama put in the mostly outclass. I mean, it has potion, it has brick break. That's about it. I mean, it's good, but like it's nothing. There's just so many better like potion units in the game now. Moving on, got Victory Bell. Victory Bell we could put in the niche tier. It's Gengar, but worse because it's like slower. But yeah, it's basically the same deal, and doesn't do damage as well as Gengar. Right. Moving on, Silvally. Man, but Silvally situation. I mean, it's just. I mean, it has type coverage for like every type, but like it's not really good at doing damage though. Its damage is kind of it's good like over like some like neutral damage dealers, but like why would you be using neutral damage dealers when you can use super effective? It's just a really nice thing for like new players to have, I guess, if you don't have too many damage deals of each type. But like outside of that, it's not that great. Crush Claw defense drop is something, I guess, but like Lycanroc's better, Nanu's better at that, right? Just strictly defense drops, right? But Silvally, sad. Moving on, Macerel Palossand, well, B tier, right? Or not B tier, really good. Sandstorm, obviously great. Could buff your team's crit, buff your team's physical attack. Aggravation on Astonish. The flinch chance is really, really nice. Could heal up in Sandstorm. Could redirect damage for a bit. X defense. It's an over like a lot of people just think Palossand is like the Sandstorm center, which it is. But like outside of like doing Sandstorm, it also does like a lot of other things that people just don't mention. Right, so there's that. Moving on, Vileplume. Open situation is good tier. A lot of great things about Vileplume. The honor rolls on Energy Ball, and all the move cage refreshers on Energy Ball is really, really nice. It's great defensively, right, with all the defensive buffs, all that stuff. Paralysis is cool, right? Do some solid damage. Could also maybe confuse sometimes. Special defense debuff sometimes as well. Here and there, it just does a lot of great things, right? Moving on, Sharna. Sharna, that's our last top tier over here, right? Insane damage dealer, psychic terrain is really, really great, right? Fantastic defenses, all that stuff. Just overall, great, do everything psychic related unit, right? Moving on, Floatzel. I love Floatzel, but it's look how the mighty has fallen, right? It just doesn't do much anymore. Waterfall flinch is cool, I guess. Waterfalls with confusion also kind of cool, but like outside of that, it doesn't really do much. It does okay damage on the sync nuke, all that stuff. It's self-sufficient, which like no one cares about self-sufficiency anymore. There's just so many like supports are so powerful in this game. Like who cares about self-sufficiency? So yeah, poor Floatzel. Moving on. Gramble, I'm putting on lowest tier, unfortunately. It has charm, but like and play rough, but there's so many units that do that better now. Masquerine, we could put in the finally another good unit. Good unit, right? Masquerade's great, right? Infestation, got the trap in there. Could tank relatively well, especially special moves, right? Got Struggle Bug to decrease the opponent's special attack, right? It's almost a staple in like a lot of these Toxic Stall trap teams, right? Especially against special stages, stuff like the Agathas, the whatevers, right? Karens, Wills, all that stuff. Really, really good there. Moving on, Serena, I'll put it here as well. Again, really, really hard to set up, but once you do set it up, that's a very, 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 very powerful sync nuke, right? And its power whip does some solid damage as well. Also has like confusion, which is cool. Outside of that, not slightly limited, right? It's just mostly limited by team comp. Nothing inherently wrong with it. All right, moving on. Abomasnow, I mean, it sets up hail. Niche, I guess. I mean, there's Ice Steven just completely obliterates this thing. Even like Tech Lapras is much better. Cryogonal, put in niche, I guess. Kind of like Grimsley, shows up once every year to be like the savior of like some fighting against some legendary Pokemon, right? But outside of that, don't see too much uses, unfortunately. Moving on, Onyx. I'm a huge Onyx supporter, man. I think Onyx is still slept on by a lot of people. Fantastic defenses, Potion with Master Healer. You got I think Rock Tomb with Overwhelm and Rock Throw with Defense Crush, right? A lot of great things, and it could deal some occasional sync nuke damage, all that stuff. I don't know why people are sleeping on Onyx, but they are, and they shouldn't be. Moving on, Togekiss probably over here as well again. Great sync nuke, all that stuff. Good stats all around. Could flinch. Good status. All those status are very, very random and incredibly unreliable, but it still has that, right? Moving on, Rapidash. We put it here, I guess. It sets up Sun, which is cool, but like Meganium does it better. But I mean, if you really just want to like run like a sync nuke fire type thing, you'd have to run Rapidash. It's again, Sun's very, very powerful. It's just Rapidash herself is kind of right? You have a trap and a chance to burn. I just don't like Rapidash's trainer move. Really random. Unfortunately, if it was a bit more reliable, it would have been much nicer. But oh well. Again, Sun's very powerful. Rapidash herself, not the best. Moving on, Mimikyu, in a situation, I guess. Like the defensive debuffs are kind of whatever. Confusion is cool, I guess. The damage is okay. I just really, 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 really wish that they gave Mimikyu just more MP refreshes on Shadow Sneak, which would have made Mimikyu so like if Mimikyu had like 2 MP refresh 2s on Shadow Sneak, I'd put Mimikyu like so much higher. But they didn't, and once you run out of Shadow Sneak, you're kind of done. You got like few Phantom Forces in you, which delays your sync move. So, yeah, kind of sad. Miltank, these two, whatever, right? Again, attack units they're kind of weird. They all depend on the situations. Some thrive in some situations, some don't do so well in others, right? Like even like down here, like people like use these to like clear 1.5 K point master modes. It's all possible, right? People could find a lot of really, really fun things that you could do with text, and that's so cool about text, right? You got so much different things that you got the status people, you got the debuffers, you got like some of like the highest damage dealers in the whole game, right? It's tech's a weird fun bunch. So anyways, that's really this one, I guess. Hope you guys do. Let me guys think of the comments down below. Like and enjoy this video, subscribe to my channel, some more content. I'll see you guys in the next one.